everyone. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing the fact that Meghan Markle has left Invictus suddenly. There was a few things that were going around circulating. Of course, the media has stated that it is down to the fact that she wanted to rush back to the children. Well, if you've been following me for a while, you know my thoughts on the children and whether they exist or don't exist. And so I'm going to be discussing what I think is really going on, looking at some of the footage that we've seen and discussing, my thoughts and opinions on that. So my name is Ems, I'm a qualified UK therapist, and I use my nearly 20 years experience in this field to show you the things that I've discovered in regards to body language, behaviour, looking at the psychology behind celebrities. And in most cases, it's about Harry and Meghan at the moment. So sometimes I'm looking at what is not just being said, but also what's not being said, reading between the lines. I try and give you as much factual evidence as possible because I believe in the truth and not just clickbait gossip. That being said, if this is the channel for you, then don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss future uploads, and like the video because it helps the algorithm and shows YouTube that I'm a channel worth keeping. So that being said, grab your cuppa, sit back, relax, and let's dive into truth, analysis, and tea. So in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I thought I would just come on and show you my little heart tiara that I bought. And this is for everybody. So for the people that are in relationships, that are enjoying Valentine's Day today, I'm the sort of person that believes that Valentine's should be every day, but I appreciate the fact that it's a cute thing and it's a bit of a gimmick. But some of us are single, like myself. I choose to be single. And so for those of you who are single, and I have my lovely fur babies and my family and I love them, and so Valentine's Day is for the love that we show our friends, our family, our fur babies, but not only that, ourselves. We can show that actually, you know what, I love who I am, I love me, and I'm going to celebrate being me today. And that's what I'm doing for Valentine's today, albeit that I will say I woke up this morning and my lovely son had bought me a lovely couple of bunches of flowers, and so that did put a smile on my face. So yeah, so Tristan, thank you very much, I love you for that. I'm not going to be wearing this the entire time. I just wanted to come on and show this because actually it's quite tight and it's hurting my head. But in the spirit, I have worn a red headband. I've got red sparkly eyeshadow on. And I do have hearts on my jumper, which you can see there. So yeah, that being said, let's get into this video. So most of you know by now that Meghan Markle has suddenly left Invictus, and of course the mainstream media are saying that this was all planned, this was meant to be. She has decided to go home because she misses the children, etc. And I am going to say what I say all along a lot of the time where these two are concerned is I believe that is BS. I believe that they just come up with something to put out there to do damage control. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen by now that some of the footage that is coming out is showing that Harry and Meghan, there was clearly something going on. When you see pictures being put out like this, that definitely says to me that something was happening. Now, of course, I look at social media and I see what things are being said. Some people have said that she was removed because of the situation with Tom Bower. Some people have said that she was removed because she was monopolising Invictus, and apparently some people were not happy about it. Now, out of the two, what I'm more inclined to believe is the second one. I have a feeling that something was said. I have a feeling that something was said, or not only that, I think that whoever was running the PR for Invictus potentially saw a lot of the ways the media were starting to show just these two. And that was very apparent. There's no way we can say anything else. When you've got these two, and it seems to be worse this year, where he's doing interviews, and even though in instances he's talking about the veterans, when you have footage like this, and I'm just going to show this bit of footage here, where he's standing and he just looks so bored. She's there grinning and almost like as if she's talking to herself, which we know she does a lot. but he just looks incredibly bored. And when you've got the veterans that are standing right there, he's not engaging in them. They're not really engaging in him either. And I just think that this is very apparent. And then not only that, there's footage as well and pictures that I've seen where they're bunching them together, the people that have turned up, and then they're showcasing the footage to make it seem like it's packed out. Now, I do believe the opening ceremony, there was probably quite a few people there, mainly because, like I say, there were celebrities performing. And correction, when I said it was Coldplay, it wasn't Coldplay, it was actually just Chris Martin, who is obviously the lead singer of Coldplay, Katy Perry, Nelly Furtado, and I'm not sure if there was somebody else. But when you have that fact that then for the rest of Invictus, when they were doing the meet and greets, to me there wasn't really hardly anybody there. When they were sitting around, again, they're sort of bunched together and the rest of the seats were completely empty. I think that this shows you actually how little support Invictus is actually getting. And those two are, and I've said this so many times, they are hurting Invictus. And if Harry, and I'm not even going to talk about Meghan because we know that Meghan doesn't particularly care, but when we have Harry, who is the face of Invictus, albeit that he loves to constantly talk about the fact that he founded Invictus, and it's actually no, what you did was you stole the idea or got the idea from Warrior Games and other things that were out there. And actually, it's or somebody that he was with at the time suggested it. Harry then run with it and then went to his dad and his brother and his and Prince Philip, I think, who then spoke to the then Prime Minister, was it Boris Johnson? And then they sort of then started to, under the Royal Foundation, then come up with a plan to create the Invictus. This wasn't Harry. But he loves to talk about the fact that he founded it, he got it off the ground. He never mentions his family, even though they were very much part of this. I think even Catherine was part of this as well in the beginning. He likes to take credit for the whole thing. And you know what? Fine, Harry, if you want to do that, then you go ahead, because at the end of the day, we all know the truth. But when you're looking at the fact that these two have turned this into almost like a PR, let's pretend to be royals walk around, we're doing meet and greets, we're shaking the fans, and it's like, it's not about you, it's about the veterans. And I'm sorry, but where I was looking, I did not see hardly any footage of the veterans being shown. It was all Harry and Meghan. What I guess is potentially what happened is that they were pulled to one side and basically said, this is becoming a PR nightmare. This is being turned into the Harry and Meghan show. A lot of the veterans are not happy. We're seeing this showcased in the media. We're not happy about this. This has got to change. And so what I'm guessing is that those two then, Harry's then presented that to her. They've had words, because it certainly looked as if something was going down between those two prior to her leaving. And then all of a sudden she leaves the day before Valentine's Day. And of course they've used the reasoning of she's missing the children and she wants to rush back to them. When we all know, well, most of us know that those children are not living with them. I have said this so many times, that those children are not living with them. Hence why every opportunity she gets, and sometimes even him, they have to mention the children. Even in situations that it's just not relevant to mention, but it's like she has to interject. Hence the wearing the names of the children on whatever she's wearing. I'm sorry, but I don't know many parents that do that. It's like, I'm sure many of us, we all love our children, but I don't wander around buying clothing or wearing clothing that have my children's names on it. So maybe it's because she forgets, and so she needs to remind herself what the name is. But I would also say is because, as I said in there with the Lily, because I refused to say the full name, that to me was a slight to the Queen. I do not believe for one a second that they went to the late Queen and said, oh, we would like to have this name. Can we name the girl this? Do not believe that for a second. I think that they did go to her and maybe ask for Mary or Elizabeth or Beth or whatever, but not that name. That was a slight to the Queen, because now when you Google that name, what comes up is Harry and Meghan's daughter. The Queen, the late Queen, doesn't come up. She does. And so I think that this was purposefully done. And I think that's why she does this thing where she interjects things with their name on, because it's almost like a reminder. And again, another dig at the royal family, because this is what she does. She digs at the royal family in ways that could be plausible deniability. It's like, no, I didn't do that. I was just showing something that had the children's names on. I didn't do that. Well, we all know with narcissists, and because I believe Meghan is a narcissist, we all know that they do things not by coincidence. Everything is planned. Everything has an agenda. And I think that's exactly what this is. And so given that, I do not believe for any shadow of a doubt that she left because she wanted to leave. Even if you take the children out of the equation, the alleged children out of the equation, I do not believe that she left off her own volition. And the reason is because, as I've said before, she is a narcissist, and narcissists crave attention. You do not go from the way she was behaving in Invictus, where she's interjecting herself in everything, including the speech. And no, I haven't forgotten about the speeches. I will be getting to those. I just have the picture video that I want to go out over the weekend, and I wanted to do this one, but I will be doing the speeches next week because I want to do a full video on Meghan and a full video on Harry. And that's just going to take a little bit more time than I had today. I just wanted to come on and talk about the fact that she's left. So yeah, I don't believe she woke up and she was like, do you know what? I think I'm done now. I think I've kind of got everything I need to out of this. I'm going to leave Harry to have all of the attention, and I'm just going to scuttle off home. Especially as these two, who are so in love, so supposedly all about, you know, their relationship, she leaves the day before Valentine's Day. I believe that those two are on very, very rocky ground. I do not believe that they're in love. I definitely think that there's moments when Harry keeps the facade and he probably feels in a good space, possibly because he's either taken something, so he's taken an upper and his mood is up there, so then he interjects with her, and when he's having fun, like when we saw them on the ski slopes, he's having fun. So it's easier to feel that you can be in a good mood with the person that you're there with, even if you don't particularly like them, because you're in a good mood yourself. But there's definitely moments when they're sitting and she's trying to do these public displays and he's just not having it. He's just not interested. And I think that those are the moments when it's true. Those are the moments when we're seeing him just not even being bothered to keep up with the facade. I mean, she's there with her grin like she always is, but there's even been moments like when I showed that picture just now, where there's definite mask slips when they forget the cameras are potentially watching. And this is what I think is going on. I think they're probably arguing behind the scenes. I think they're not necessarily getting on very well at all. And I don't even believe they live together. And so then they come together, and then they've gone from not living together to being in the same environment together. That is going to cause friction, because those two are just two volatile individuals, and that does not make for a harmonious relationship. As I've said before, for somebody to be able to live with a narcissist, you either have to be compliant. So they've worn you down so much that you're just compliant for an easy life, or you're a very, very submissive personality. Sorry, it's Arthur, because my son's just come home from work. And that is the only way those two, that type of personality dynamic, it's not that it works, but it's manageable to a point. Now, Harry, I don't feel is compliant anymore, which is why we are seeing what we're seeing now. He is not complying, and that is going to infuriate her. It is to me very apparent. I don't particularly think Harry is even submissive. I think that he has elements, and I think in the beginning he possibly was, where she was able to dominate him, but he's too volatile. He's too immature. We've certainly seen sides of him where he gets frustrated and he gets angry. And that isn't going to change because he's met somebody like Meghan. What he's potentially done is put his best self forward initially, but he's got bored and he's got irritated with her. He's got fed up with her demands. And so then the real side of him then starts to come out. And that, again, is going to make for a very, very volatile, toxic relationship. And I think that this is why the two of them don't live together. And I think that the only reason it's sort of works on a public level is because they come together for short bursts and then they go their separate ways. Obviously, this is going to be where they're in the vicinity of each other for longer periods of time. And so that is going to create problems. So I think that that is exactly what's happened here. I think that the media have basically just done what they normally do. The people at Invictus are probably really frustrated and fed up with the fact that this has been all about them, the Meghan and Harry show, that they've actually used this just to garner public PR. They've used this almost like a fake royal tour of Canada, like they're visiting children at schools. They're pretty much doing very similar to what they did in Colombia and Nigeria. So, you know, I'm sorry, but why are you visiting schools? This has got nothing to do with schools. Why are you visiting and sitting there while, you know, all these things are happening? And it's not about the veterans. Where are to me, there should be interviews with veterans. There should be us seeing what's kind of going on behind the scenes with the veterans and how you know got to where they are. But it's not. It's all about those two. And so I would absolutely say that they've got to a point where they're like, you know what, this needs to stop. It's one thing for it to be Harry because they will see him as, say, the founder, but Meghan, what's that about? So I definitely think that something's happened. I think that she's probably been told that she's got to go, and she's not been happy about that. So they've argued behind the scenes, but I would imagine that Harry has just been like, I'm putting my foot down. Now and like I said, there's moments, and I will find the footage because I've heard about it and people have told me about it, where there's apparently that he was given some Marmite and she tries to take it from him and he basically just was like, no. And if I find the footage, I'll put it up here. So there's lots of things like that. And we're seeing this more and more now. What we saw before is them acting and looking as if they're a loved up couple. Whereas now we are most definitely seeing when they do interviews, when they do other things, that he is just disinterested. He has little bursts of, I'm kind of okay with her. But then when they're sort of like sitting in a crowd on their own, it's like he just looks so disinterested, like he's bored. And I think that that's what it is. I genuinely, hand on heart, do not believe he actually even cares about the veterans. I think he tries to convince himself that he does. But like I've said, if you genuinely care about somebody, you put them before yourself. And Harry is not, all right, he's not particularly the brightest bulb in the light bulb box, but you know, he would know by now that his presence and her presence is hurting Invictus. So the way that you would view this would be, you know what, actually, if veterans are leaving, if this is actually hurting this, I care more about the veterans than I do myself. So, you know what, I'm going to step back. I'm going to find somebody that actually will be a really good face for this, whether it's one of the veterans that have been there from the beginning, or like we've said about Mike Tyndall, or somebody that would be a really, really good fit for this. And so it can soar, it can excel, and it can do what it's supposed to do, and that is focus on the disabled veterans that are turning up and even their families or whatever. But he doesn't. He doesn't, because he doesn't care. He cares that he uses this because it's the only thing that he has left. He has nothing else. Nobody is taking him seriously. Nobody is looking at Harry as a source of inspiration. Nobody's interested, and this is all he has. And so he doesn't want to give that up selfishly. And in a way, that is all she has, because she's capitalized on using the Invictus with him to create this to be a way for her to swan around acting as if she's important when actually she's really not. So I think that is what's going on. So I think within that, they have told her to go, because like I say, there is no way she would have given up that spotlight. Absolutely no way. She would have clung on to that for all of its worth to stay there, because not only that, she would not want Harry getting all the attention and not her. But the fact that she's gone back, I am fully expecting her to do something that is going to try and take away from what is going on there. Because I think, is he there for another, was it 4 days? I'm not sure. So I'm expecting her to do something, to put something on her Instagram. That's why we got, when she got back, we got the ridiculous post that she put up, showcasing some of the food that she took back from Invictus. And of course we had to have the shirt with the children's names on. So we're championing you and supporting you from over here. And of course then that you know, gets in the media, and that's what she'll do. I fully believe that's what we're going to do, because again, if she cared about Harry, if she loved Harry, she would be thinking, this is his thing, I'm going to let him shine, let him have his moment, very much like the way Catherine and William are. I'm going to let him do his thing, and then, you know, I'll do mine at some point. Because I will say that I also found this out, and this is the thing that really enraged me, and I'm going to put this up here. So we were told that she was pushing back this cookery show because she cared about the victims of the LA fires, that she wanted to focus on that. We all know that that was BS, and I called it, and so many others called it. Well, I found this, and I'm going to put this up here. What she's doing now, again, this is media footage. We don't know if this is actually true because it's not happened yet, but apparently she's re-editing or redoing some of the cookery show to include some of the things that happened in the LA fires. So there's going to be footage, and I'm guessing there's going to be footage of her and Harry walking around doing what they've done. Now, if this is true, every time I think she cannot stoop any lower, she does something like this to then utilize the tragedy, the loss and devastation of these people, to add that in to your show so you get more clicks and more views. I'm not even sure if I can come up with the right word for it without getting banned from YouTube. But this is what this is saying. And is this on track with how she behaves? Absolutely. We already know she's done it. She's used, because they were called, what was it, tragedy vultures or something along those lines. But this could be exactly why. So that means that she was walking around with a camera crew whilst this was happening. And if that's the case, I am fully expecting her to get absolutely slammed for this, if that's true. Because to then walk around with a camera crew, I mean, we did hear the rumours that when she was there with, is it Gavin Newsom's wife, where they were hugging and doing all of that there was a camera crew. But this would prove that. This would prove that there was a camera crew walking around filming them, whilst specifically for her to put this on Netflix and to redo her show. And then that then tells you that the reason she then pushed it back was not because she actually cared, was because she needed to edit the footage and add it in. And I don't know, I need to think about when the timeline is as well, because it will be interesting to see that if she puts anything out trying to take away from Invictus, because I'm expecting that. And then also on top of that, when you have, and again, this will show you, in my opinion, I did put this up, I think, on my TikTok, or is it on my Instagram? But this will also show you, because there's footage where you see there's this gentleman, and I was informed that he was a disabled vet that in the LA fires that lost his home. But either way, even if he's not a vet, doesn't matter, he's still a disabled person. And you see him sitting there. You see Harry walk past. Now, watch the fact that they don't realise that someone's filming them. So they're not together. There's no public displays of affection because the cameras aren't on them. So they're not knowing this is happening. But Harry walks past, like I say, completely not with Meghan. They don't even acknowledge each other. She walks them behind as well, a little bit further. They walk right past this disabled person and they just ignore him. They do not acknowledge him. And you can see that he sees them because he's kind of looking a bit shocked. But she walks right past him and doesn't even stop or do anything. And I think given the fact that if this is a disabled vet, the fact that he's running Invictus shows you exactly what he thinks. But even if this is a disabled person, it also shows you exactly what they think. And I have said before, I think that she has, I'm going to use Harry's word, unconscious bias when it comes to disabled people. I don't think she likes them. And when I showed you that footage in my other video of the way she was with these people, I think it shows the lack of respect that she's got. I don't think she wants to be with them, near them or anything. And I think that this is just all a front. But yeah, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And as always, I always enjoy reading what you write. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Please don't forget to click on that little old like button because it does help the algorithm. Don't forget to head across to my bite-sized tea because over there you're going to get different videos, short and to the point. So I'm asking for as much support as possible to get that channel up and running because this channel constantly keeps being affected. So please go and support me over there as well. If you would like to treat me to a cuppa, you can do. It's not always necessary. You just look after yourself first and foremost. But there is my Amazon wish list and there is also a PO box if you want to write to me. You can do that now. Yeah, so anything else is in the description box below. So whatever you are doing today on Valentine's Day, please look after yourself. And I want to give a little shout out to Janine and Jeff. They are my beautiful future daughter-in-law's parents and they apparently have started watching my videos. So I just want to give them a little shout out and say hello to you. And yeah, that's it. So have a wonderful time, whatever you're doing today, whether you are being with your loved ones, your fur babies, or just being with yourself and enjoying your own company. Have a wonderful time and happy Valentine's Day to all of you. And I will see you in the next video. And as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.